good evening, world. Nice, looks like my audio is doing good. One last announcement in Discord, and I am live. So it has been volatile. We did see a bull flag breakout on BTC. There's a lot happening in the markets, right? There's a lot happening in all the markets, right? Legacy markets. So the SPY took a heavy sell-off. I did signal a short on that last Wednesday, and we're having some Iran escalations. There's some rockets thrown at a U.S. embassy in Iraq. The coronavirus is potentially impacting the markets as well. We're seeing a spike in gold. We're seeing more money flooding at BTC. There's also, so we got Iran, we got the China, not quite like China FUD, but you know what's really happening in China. I'm not gonna dive into theories, conspiracy theories, and so forth, but it is important to note that all these things, they're actually adding. They're shaping the markets the way we're looking at them. They're shaping how markets are acting and reacting. I'm gonna start off with the BTC chart. It's looking like we're getting another bull flag here after the 30-minute phantom sell signal. All right, so this could potentially turn into another flag. We're looking, if RBI does curve around here on the D line, we're probably looking for a secondary push. I would, however, like to see a pullback to one of my green lines, so 88.34, 88.09, or back down to the 8,500 range. Why am I eyeing those levels? If you just go back using Phantom, we have not had a retest of the 2-hour midline, and I would like to see one of those, right? I'd like to see a pullback to here. It looks like there's another tower midline at 87.01. As you guys can see, those not the green lines, but the dashed orange ones are all the alert levels I have set. And I would like to see some kind of liquidity play down to the zone. Happy Monday, Delilah. What's going on, Christopher? Now, that being said, last time I did a stream was 2 days ago. I think it was Sunday? It was Saturday. Saturday I did the stream over the weekend. And I said, hey, this looks like a bull flag. We did have longs here that got stopped out, and I said, hey, the flag retest has failed, and it ended up breaking out. And I was asleep. I couldn't catch this entry, but as you guys can see, like I hedged high, a long low, and then I hedged at like 91.40. I'm still in profit on that short hedge. Still up 2,400% on my original long. I did open a secondary long here. I wasn't very confident. I didn't signal it. And that one's up a lot. I should have signaled it. I did. You guys know I got chopped out in this range a lot, right? For like full-on transparency. But that's why I like to hedge, right? I mean, that short was doing work. A profit took. Every time a profit took this short hedge on BTC, I actually posted in our BTC channel. Alright, so now what can we expect, right? The 2-hour phantom's actually moving up. We're looking for like upwards of 93, 94. I don't think we're going to get a double top. I do think if we do push up, we're going to go to 9,400, 9,300. And I would definitely, any pullback down here, I would profit take this open short. Currently 50% long, right? From 73 on futures like 69. And then short from 91.40, 50%. So, and I did add here. Yeah. That's what Phantom's saying. That's what, you know, back to the chart and back to like the daily when I was throwing up moving averages. We're right under the 200, right? Which is good. But if you look at all the other ones, I don't actually trade the 200. Which I should. We held above my 30 WMA for the close. We did dip below it, but bulls pushed up. We're above my 9. And things are looking bullish. Now, in the title, I did mention that I'm going to talk about some correlations, show you guys what I'm seeing. This chart, you probably, if you've been following me for a while, you're probably tired of me posting this. And if you're not, then you're not paying attention to what's happening in this market, right? so this is I actually published on this. There's a link to the Medium article in the video description. I published this in December 20th, right? And this is the reason we're bullish. This is why we long 69 and 73, because of what's going on in traditional assets, right? Every time the S&P is broken off one significant fib level to the next, BTC's gone on a bull run, right? Coming out of a corrective phase. So here we have the first correction, right? And then the bull run started here. We had a minor correction. This was 2014, 2015, 2016, right? This coincided with the S&P breaking above the 1.618, going to 2.618. Now, a few weeks ago, 13 weeks ago to be exact, I declared the S&P in a blow-off, and then Wednesday, so last week up here, I said we we're going to short it, and we started shorting. We closed some of those shorts. We're 240% profits today. Good job if you did buy those VIX calls with me, right? But the reason this is valid is because you look at these three major corrections, right? I mean, we're in the third right now, coming out of the third. Here it is. It's almost like a spin image of the other two, where we go above the 23 and don't come back down below it. And the 23 is right here. And then there's the 38. We're not above the 38 just yet, so I'm not going to say we're in a bull run. But what tends to happen as the S&P pulls back and touches the retest of the previous fib level, that's when things start getting volatile, right? So don't go over committing. We might still chop out. We might still chop for a bit. Now the weekly BLX chart, yes, it looks like a really sexy bull flag. Currently trading above resistance. Actually, it's not really the currently trading thing. This was yesterday's close, right? I mean, look at that. That is pretty, guys. Let's not be fooled. This is a volatile market. Support sometimes just tends to disappear, but this is bullish, right? This is really bullish. It's a bull flag. It's extended. So I want to see us get above 95, and that's why Phantom, you go back to this chart, you know, the rejection's going on like the 120, is going to be in that 94 and 9500 range. So if we do get above 95, I'd be really bullish on that, right? And BTC would be really bullish too. What are some targets, right? Like if this was to break out, if we're gonna break past our last year's high, guys, feel free to interrupt me with any questions you have. If we were to break out past the 2013 highs, right? Like what would I target? The next initial is only like 16K, maybe 17. That's if we do get a really big upwards impulse. Move all drawing tools. Go back to here. Now, more importantly, we do have to get above this 61.8, which is going to be 13. So think 13 next up, 16 before coming back down, potentially 24. That's like the Super Bowl mode. But I do have plenty of reason to believe that we should be eyeing some kind of move, especially on a successful retest. Now, was this sell-off on the S&P, right? I didn't short it because of China. I didn't short it because of the coronavirus. I actually shorted it. I'm just going to move the slide a little closer. I actually shorted it because of TD sequentials, right? I had if you do our TD sequential on the weekly, we had a weekly 13. And I've been looking for a reason to short down here for a retest. This is unsustainable. We did have a TD turn at a 9 previously. Right here, we did have one turn at a 13, right? And we had one at a 7. So I declared the short. So this is a 2-to-1 win-loss ratio, and it actually was very awesome. Really good play. So as we see this pullback, that's when enter retest and successful one. We're gonna see that real jump in all assets, not just BTC, not just ETH, but like stocks and commodities and indices and go ahead and mute my speakers. Alright, so back to BTC. I do have several alerts set up here, right? I do want to see this pull back a little bit more. I do know the signal line on RBI is getting close to K. It does look like it's doing like a bullish divergence on the 15. Yeah, it's definitely like an MDRP, momentum discrepancy. Alright, so we're likely going to see a push up again, especially if this continues. But overall, the chart is bullish. I would like to, however, add it at these levels. It might be unfortunate, and I might not be able to. So the weekend gap, let's talk about that. It's a really good question. I'm gonna pop it up here instead of ETH. So let's look at that chart, right? Let's look at BTC1, which is the futures chart for the CME. That's where we get our gap plays from. I'm gonna get rid of Phantom real quick. So last gap, not last gap, but you know, the previous gap was up here. Let me go ahead and just adjust this for you guys, right? It was like right at 89.35. And then the following gap, the one that happened yesterday and today, is at 85.30. Now, I'd love to see it fill, and I would have loved to see that one completely fill. But something's happening with these gaps, right? They're getting front ran. I believe this is how I fib my gaps. This is how I fib my gaps. Right, so we got a 78.6 fill on this gap. I think we maybe got a 50% fill on that gap. Sometimes there's just going to be separation gaps that don't fill. Then, yeah, I mean, 61.8 was almost it. So when an asset's really bullish, it's going to do that. And if it doesn't, then it's going to come back and refill it like weeks later. And that's what we saw. That's what we saw back here. Come on. So when you're assessing a gap, like why am I talking about such an old gap? Went from, you know, from June 14th as on my birthday. Why would I talk about something so old? Well, how long did it take this one to fill? Did it actually ever fill all the way? Right? It didn't. Not for that quarter anyway. June, July, August. Still looking for 8,500, right? So there's going to be separation gaps. There's going to be gaps that only fill. Now, if this was on like a gap fill, kind of like what I was just showing you just now, like my gap fill theory, when a gap doesn't fill all the way, if you're going to fib it to get a fib entry on a gap fill that's really bullish, I do something like this. Where did the gap start? At 0, right here where the gap is. Where was that top? This one filled 50%. And then it just kept pushing up. And here was another one. That one filled all the way, and then we had a secondary rally. So we might get a gap fill. And once again, I said we're not quite out of the chop. I don't think we are. I'll declare us out of the chop whenever this retest happens, right? Whenever the S&P does some kind of retest. Let's look at ES1 futures right now. I did post that I profit took most of my short yesterday, or earlier today, and I'm looking for an up move before buying VIX calls again. And why did I do that? Right, because we're at 61.8 of previous range. Right here, we're holding at the 61. we're gonna see it move back to like 328, which is gonna be very similar on the ES. I mean on the S&P. So I think we're gonna chop for a few more weeks. We might break above that 9,500 and stay above it. That would be ideal. And possibly get another chance of longing low a little later in this retest. So let me go ahead and just symbol, getting rid of the extended hours highlight. I hate the way it looks. There we go. So once again, rate of 61.8. I actually did long via SPXL. I wasn't gonna go with calls and puts on this one. I figured a 3x long up to here, up to 327 would cover me enough to, you know, burn some more profit and then load up on the VXX again and ride it back down. It's going to be a multi-week play. That's what I'm eyeing on the ES, right, based on the sequentials. Let's look at BTC and a TD sequential. Let's see what that's doing on a daily. And let's look at the futures chart too, since that's what we were just looking at. So what do we have? We got a daily 9. Oh, that's not a daily, it's a 4-hour 9. Remove all drawing tools. Man, so down here I saw this 9 and I said, hey, you know, to myself, like, there's going to be a turn in a day or two. Just be patient, right? So whenever we're seeing these, trading these TDs, guys, you got to pay attention to the 9, to the 13. You see a 9, be patient. You know, it might take a day or two for a nice entry. On the daily, not seeing anything. Let's try like the 120. 7. Yeah, I think it's gonna be 2 more up candles, a few more up candles before we pull back down. All right, let's go back to XBT USD. Let's do a harmonic scan. Go ahead and throw the indicator suite on here. Were there any signals on Phantom? I think Crypto God and Chad and a few of the guys are saying, hey, pay attention to the 90-minute, right? Pay attention to the 90-minute. A lot of buy signals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The hourly gave some buy signals as well. A lot more. And then it did have rejection and then bullish rejection, bullish rejection. So if you're trading Phantom, probably had a lot of opportunity to take long. This would be your target, T3 or a hedge, where now you want to see what's going to happen, if you're going to break above or if you're going to come back down. I don't think this harmonic is valid. Which one's that? It's not, because I have a higher high. I'm getting clean up this chart a bit. You guys can see it, right? This is invalidated because there's actually 2 higher highs. Let's look at other setups. This was bearish. This was a bearish crab, and it didn't play out yesterday. And now it's still moving on up. The 30. Nothing. The 4-hour has been bullish since like our last signal. So longer time frames have been very bullish. Let's clean that up a bit. Right, the 4-hour I wanted to retest to 8,000. I would really love to add down here. It was one of the prices I did say to look out for. Another one was like 83.26. Right, said we're gonna watch that level. Now, unfortunately, I was asleep on this retest. Couldn't signal it, but you guys that were in, you know, we're still booking that 2,400%. Anyways, show me some charts. So let's look at some time frames. Let's look at some altcoins if you guys want me to. I was looking at like Neo and Vet and some of the Chinese tokens, and they're surprisingly doing good. So another, I kind of didn't really touch up on that at all. I just kind of briefly mentioned it, but the whole thing with China, you can't leave the country with the currency. You can't take it out of the country. So anybody that's looking to leave China right now and like go to somewhere else to be safe from the virus has got to do something with their money to get out, especially if they plan on leaving for a good period of time. So you know, we're kind of in an upswing. Crypto exposure is good. Saw some posts on gold rallying. I haven't checked the gold chart because that I believe that 80 the VXX short, that VIX play we did was probably the most profitable trade of the week. In you know, when it comes to options and legacy markets and stuff. So let's look at that. Alright, so we got in last week on like Tuesday, Wednesday. I said 1450 calls. We never even had 1450. It shot right past it to 1565, right? So I believe I got us in around here. And yeah, now it's up. We didn't trade this on spot. We made 248%. So that's why I'm not focusing on gold, silver, stocks, bonds, anything. I'm looking at the S&P and the VIX, and BTC, Ether. Not a whole lot of alts, right? Not much. I did signal a couple when they got stopped out. Except for like BAT still running. BTC still doing good. It's up 8% off my last signal, but hasn't really broken. Right? That's token I'm looking to break. I'm looking for it to break up. Let's show me some tokens, guys. Facebook, YouTube, show me with some alts. What do you guys want to look at? Or is that it? Keep it short and sweet. BTC and S&P. Matic. Awesome. That's the hourly, right? It looks like it wants to come down and do a little bit of retest to 183, maybe 184. But it's below the midlines on the hourly. Let's go up to 2 hour. It's definitely, you know, not in breakout mode, not yet, right? And there's actually like another midline up at 202. I would, let's look at the daily. What's going on with the daily chart? We don't want to look at RBI, not enough data. This looks interesting, right? But signal lines below 240. I don't know, the signal line is trying to find support on KD, so if we do get that, I'd say it's in like maybe accumulation mode. Problem is, I don't know how some of these tokens are going to react if BTC pumps, right? If we do take, but I am projecting a little bit of chop, so we might get an interim alt season. I don't know if it's going to be like all out alt season, maybe a couple of 100% runners, a couple of 200% runners. The interesting ones were like Dash, some of the anonymous coins, the privacy coins, right? They're still up. Zcoin is still up. Monero hasn't really started yet. I'll look over Link and I'll look over PPT. I was looking at Link earlier today and it just didn't look like it was ready for another entry, and I'm not currently in Link. I think it was a daily chart yeah, so it was a daily chart I was looking at. And what I did is I did 2 fibs. I started up here and it's below the 61.8, right? And it's just I don't want to say it's in no man's land, but it's definitely been a bullish year for Link. I don't know if it's over, I don't know if it's not, but it's definitely not like one of these really nice lows to long it. I think there's more room for downside before taking up, before I signal it. Right here we're actually coming down to retest 2803, and below it would be 21966. Yeah, okay, here we go. The hourly is actually making a lot of sense. Not sure if I like this swing low down here, right? But we're definitely coming back down to retest 2800s. A fail here, and then we're looking for lower targets. All right, PPT. Once again, I'm not signaling a lot of alts because it's not really, you know, not quite time yet. Let's get rid of some of these scans. PPT right now 3608 seems like the entry. All right, 60, 120. Yeah, everything wants to go lower. Oh yeah. So at this point I'd look for like 3602 for a possible entry. You're welcome, Delilah. You guys on Facebook, you're awfully quiet tonight. Show me some alts. Either that or ask BTC questions, ask Ether questions. Let's look at ETH BTC. Still 120. This was a nice bearish crab over here, right? And now it's pulled back some. It's pulled back 38%, which should be target 1. And now we're kind of sitting there. I'm not going to say that it's going to run, but I'd like to see the Ether rally happen. Definitely would like to see that Ether BTC rally pump. Let's go back to Phantom. I'll go over OMG. Oh, Eric, I always start with BTC, man. I did start with BTC, so let's see if ETH BTC can get up to 02, back to like the 20s. We might have a breakout on our hands. Remove all indicators. Alright, so we're above previous support. We had like a double bottom formation. Let's go to the daily chart. We had like a double bottom formation, right? Where we had the bottom here in September 2019, and now we're back in this range. We had another 2 bottoms here. Is there divergence? I definitely think there's divergence off here, divergence of these 2 lows, right? It's looking interesting. OMG. So looking at the daily chart itself, it looks like it's doing a symmetrical triangle. That'd be generous if I called this symmetrical. Alright, so I'm typically, let's go to the 4 hour. I typically chart based on candle closes, not wicks. I tend to mock wick charts, but then sometimes I use them. And if we look at it, it's actually a symmetrical triangle. That's what I wanted to check. different time frames. And had a little bit of a false break too. So OMG looks like at a good point. This would be actually a really good entry. I'm just looking at the triangle because that'd be a 0, A, B, C, D, E, and then your breakout. So let's go ahead and Elliott wave that. Be your A, B, C, D, E, right? And it would complete this triangle. You should have an upwards exit, right? So that looks promising. Let's throw on the indicator suite. Did have a long entry here on Phantom. I'm gonna disregard harmonics for a quick moment and come back to them. Let's do maybe a 360. Not playing along. Hourly. This looks like it's poised for a breakout, right? It just does. Either that or a pullback just because RBI is going blue. But at this point, right, that being having looked at the chart and having an A, B, C, D, E triangle set up, longing here, you can just run a really tight stomp. It shouldn't stop one out. Let's go back to BTC. It's looking like it wants to run. Either that, I don't see a div on the hourly. There was a bearish div on the 30. This is what I was talking about just when I started this stream. If RBI goes blue here, it's going to get volatile and we're probably going to get a secondary breakout. The 2-hour target for this is going to be up here in 94, 9500 range. All right. You guys have any more alts or tokens or assets you want me to look at? I can see my short road just diminishing, but that's just the hedge, right? That was at like 280 when I started this stream. Now we're at 180. My stop is right at entry, but that was a half hedge. I actually shorted. So what I did is I still have a long open from down here, and then I shorted 91.40. And then I took profits once, twice, 3 times, and 4 times. So took profits on half, added a little bit of long, but I want to see, I want to see the chart fold me over. So I had come back in and hedge over here. I'm not going to dance with it too much. All right, going over waves. I'm going to do these 2 more altcoins. So waves and then WES. Oh my god, okay, waves coming down, man. I feel like this one likes to play along with Phantom, especially like this trade here. This would have been bad. This would have been an awesome run for a great exit, for a buyback, for an exit here. They can stop out and profit. That's the 2-hour. I feel like alts are gonna come down, maybe do a lower low, especially looking at the 240. I wouldn't be alt heavy right now without a stop loss, right? If you guys remember 2019, and stop just hit on the signal. Well, if you guys remember 2019 altcoins, when BTC ran, a lot of alts they kept leading. Some people got wrecked, right? People that were just all alts. They didn't survive. Well, I mean, you see these charts. So we know BTC's bullish. I wouldn't be like, oh, let's go alt heavy right now. It's not the logical thing to do. Say WES, Fred, is that a... I'm guessing that's an asset. So okay, one thing I did last week, I said I'm not trading any traditional assets except for the VIX and the S&P because of the setup, right? I don't follow Australian assets. I don't. I'm not on y'all's stock exchange, but I can tell you this: traditional assets, they all need a pullback. They all need a big, heavy pullback, especially after all that big move. I mean, put this on a weekly. Doesn't look that blow offy, but it does. I mean, probably gonna be one of my little fib levels up here. Maybe not. It's above, man. It's above. Right, so I'd want to see this come back to 3803. Definitely want to see this come back to 3803. Alright, anybody want me to look at any other assets? Crypto or non-crypto? Let's look at the Chinese yuan, right? So dollar is gaining on the Chinese yuan. Let's do a CNY USD. Be the inverse of that chart. So yeah, there's a lot happening in the markets. Some of it's going to be influenced by all the fundamentals. The thing is that correlation chart, guys. Go ahead and read this article. I published this so we can come back, and I'm gonna refer to this as the prophecy, right? Because I did publish on this. Almost a month ago, over a month ago, based on what I'm seeing. So go ahead and read that up, and that would be my time when we get that retest on the S&P. That would be my most ideal time to go ahead and whack it in a really big long. And it looks like BTC is breaking out again. Big break. Broke above the hourly phantom. I'm looking for the 2-hour phantom. Right, I'm looking for that 9400 top. 94.95 before we come back down. Still not long. And yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. I'd wait for the 13, man. I would wait for the 13 on the 6 hour and on the 4 hour. That's a 9. You have another 9. So I would wait for the 13. It looks like they're both breaking out, BTC and Ether. So that is very interesting. And good. That's good to see. Well, fam, thanks for tuning into the stream. Probably gonna be back live again on today's Monday, probably like Wednesday, early in the morning, an earlier stream than this one in the evening. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to hop in on Discord, and if you have any questions, reach out to myself or any of the analysts or anybody on the team. And yeah, hike your stops up. And make sure to, if you missed BTC and the S&P, go ahead and like start this thing over because it's pretty juicy in the first few minutes. I'll catch you guys on Discord.